Islam, Hotep, Shalom Mishkael, Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods, peace to the goddess. I reserve all my rights without recourse. Welcome, my sons, my daughters, beloved. Today is the 11th day, June 2019, according to the Gregorian calendar. And coming on for a little bit, see how this turns out. All right. So what I'm going to do is just share a little bit of some research. As I said previously in the previous video, that I was going to run my DNA through several DNA companies and then share the results. So I'm waiting for the results from about 3 companies. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and have the results for 1 company. So let me go and log in. So my workstation, I'm gonna have to put it in the shop. Something's wrong with it. All of these 5G radiation waves being aimed at us all day, every day, weaponized with the chemicals being sprayed out of military jets and airplanes. Has to stop immediately. Okay, let's see. Internet's a little slow. So, a few things. Make sure when you go to bed that you cut your cell phones off, or just make sure you have a comprehensive awareness of the functions and settings of your cell phone and what's going on when you're sleeping and when you're away from your phone. Okay? Because these companies, they are invading privacy, surveillancing, monitoring and recording activities without consent, and making a profit off of that information, and worse. So this is something that I'm going to be sending letters to these companies, urging them to answer to the letters. And if they don't, then silence leads to fraud and deceit. Okay. So give me a minute. Let me get this set up. I hope that everyone has been in a harmonious, and peaceful state of awareness, energy in your home, with your mate or mates, and your children, your relatives. I hope that the last was able to offer some insight on that. And to allow these phases, allow these cycles, allow these periods of time where cosmic events are going on that we may not be aware of, constellation movements and the energies that are involved in those constellations and those cosmic planetary energies, and that we begin to learn to let those energies shape us and make us and mold us and to sharpen us. All right. A lot of us, we have, I think it's a disease personally, when you can't look at someone who has your blood and see yourself, see your blood, see your nation, see your people, then I think that is a disease. And we have to heal ourselves. Do you agree? And if we're going to do that, we have to do it collectively, starting with ourselves. So, for example, there may be something that pops into your mind, and a week or two ago it may have started an argument, started a fight, or started a conflict, but now you look at things more thoroughly and you see where is the thought coming from and how does the thought reflect something that I might need to perfect or work on inside of myself. Because that's how the ancestors and the cosmic energies speak to us and through us. And the more sensitive we become to those conversations, the higher we are able to vibrate. The more that the Akashic records open and the wisdom of the ancestors flow through us, awakening us to who we are and to who we have always been. We must not only awaken, we must vibrate. Our planet, our mother, the earth, is under attack. And these malefic, these benign negative energies, they have no remorse, they have no consciousness. And we must be aware of this so that we do not expect any remorse or any consciousness. Because if you expect remorse from a rock, you may end up with a cracked skull. Because that's what rocks do. If a rock falls on you, falls on your head and cracks your skull, the rock has no remorse because it's a rock. It's a dead entity. And if we do not rise to the occasion, then we consent and I don't think anyone wants to consent to being a slave to a dead entity. That is rather I want to say retarded or mentally ill, or that's when we can start talking about mentally ill. Okay? And as far as I know, our people have no desire to be slaves of dead entities, corporate entities that do not refer to themselves as living beings, as men and women, you see. So the next time a corporate entity interface wants to give you instructions or an order or a demand or a command, you must ask yourself, who is living and who is dead in this matter? That is where our stance begins. You see, you will either allow yourself be dragged into the land of the dead, or you will cause the dead to flee from you. So, when we think about growing up, all the scary movies that we ever saw, where something dead was chasing people around trying to kill them, many of us developed the idea that dead things were scary and to be feared. That we should run and hide from dead things. That chase you in the dark. Isn't it so? Can't you name your favorite scary movie? Isn't it something dead or something supposedly, quote unquote, came back to life and hunting people and killing and all of that? Conditioning the mind to see what is not reality when they're going about the day-to-day in reality. That is called being hypnotized. We must be. There are individuals that walk the earth that are capable to hypnotize other individuals, whether by word, by sign, if it was not so, so many would not be hypnotized. Hypnotize people, graduate what is called high school, and still do not know the difference between an adjective and the noun. And this must change amongst us. Do you? A noun is a person, place, or a thing. When I say, I'm black, I'm African American, we must know that there is no such person, place, or thing in existence among the nations. In the courts. Right? When we're in a game of chess, the board is the court. NBA Finals, they're playing a game on the court. So the courts matter. Do they not? So, in order to run the court, you must train. Championship we watched, the winners mostly are those who train the smartest and the hardest. For the most part. So then we must train our minds to deal with the facts and not the slang or the pig Latin. No, only the facts. So what are you? Are you black? Are you American? Are you African American? Are you Haitian? Are you Canadian? And if you subscribe, then you must prove it. The maxim of law says anything that can be proven must be proven. So prove it. Prove it through your lineage, through your bloodline. Prove it. Everyone else does. Why haven't you? Do you care to know who you are? Do you care for you to know who they are? Do we? Do we accept and agree that the school we attended was a scam? If we accept and agree, then we know we must study to learn what we thought we were taught. Isn't it? Because everything we were taught was what? It was a lie. All right, so I'm trying to log into this website, and I'm already logged in, but suddenly things look different. So let me try to fix it. All right, so I submitted my DNA to a company that is in another country. And I believe that several of these companies are in different companies. Now, that doesn't mean that these companies, all right, are not a part of the willful intention to skew the theory of evolution. And what do I mean? Well, you may not know it, but I'm going to make you aware that for many, many years, these people have been digging holes in our land, finding the bones of our ancestors, hiding their findings, telling the scientific community, if it does not subscribe, if it does not adhere to our theory of evolution, you are to lie about it, you are to hide it, and you are not to publish the evidence or material, except in our secret journals. So, not only is a system designed to keep you hypnotized, to keep you in the matrix, but it is backed by an army of dishonorable, people. So, with that being said, let us take a look at what this company found. Now, one thing I have noticed so far out of about 8 or 9 companies, I've seen the results for 3. All right. And there is an effort, a grouped effort, all right, to give a description of the composition of one's ancestry everywhere except the Americas. Also, it appears that the subscription that if the archaeological evidence does not subscribe to the creation coming from quote unquote Africa, it is to be destroyed. When the bones and the findings of the last 100 years clearly point to life beginning here in the Americas. All right. So, looking at some things have changed since I last logged in. For example, before it said that I was 1% Chinese. So my great-great-great-grandfather is the great-great-great-grandfather. We share the blood of our forefather. And since I have 0% Mongoloid blood, that would make me the same as my grandfather to the Chinese nation. But now it's changed and numbers look different. So anyways, South Asian 5%, Indian 5% European, 4% French, 1.3 Ashkenazi. I guess we know who the real Jews are now. All right. Yoruba, BantuSA, Mbuti. Some shit they made up. Not saying that we don't share blood, just saying they have an agenda to identify us with certain groups. Here it says 3.5% Egyptian. Of course, we knew that. In the last video, I showed that I am heir to the throne of Ramesses, the pharaoh. And according to this DNA company, and a whole on the opposite side of the earth, my great-great-great-grandfather had 3 grandsons. Their names: Albert Einstein, Adolf Hitler, and Napoleon Bonaparte. So we still have much research. These are facts. Anyone who tries to make a claim against what's in your blood, they're a heretic, and they have no logical being in this realm or in any realm. All right, so know thyself. Mandatory know thyself. Radio. Because if you are not blood, it is unlikely you will be considered for membership in this organization. Must care for your blood and see that your blood does the good and not the bad. Before we go, going to read a little bit from some translations of writings from my grandfather's library. And this book is called The Book of the Dead. Plate 1. Vignette. The scribe Ani, standing with hands raised in adoration before a table of offerings, consisting of haunches of beef, loaves of bread and cake, vases of wine and oil, fruits, lotus, and other flowers. He wears a fringed white and saffron-colored lemon garment, and has a wig, necklace, and bracelets. Behind him, his wife, Osiris, the lady of the house, the lady of the choir of Amin Tuhuti, similarly robed and holding a sistrum and a vine branch in her right hand and a minute in her left. Often called the counterpose of a collar, consists of a dark with the handle attached and a cord. It was an object which was usually offered to the gods with the sistrum. It was presented to guests at a feast by their host, and it was held by priestesses at religious festivals.
It was either worn on the neck or carried, and it was an emblem which brought joy to the bearer. Interesting examples of the pendant minute in the British Museum are number 17166 inscribed. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. It said I was 4% British. Isn't that something? But of course, things look different today. So let's go back. British Museum, number 17,166. And on it was inscribed, Beautiful God, Lord of the two lands, Maker of things, King of the north and south, Khnem-ab-Ra, Son of the sun, Ahremas, Beloved Hathor, Lady of sycamore trees. And number 13,950. In Fa'a'int and numbers 8172, 8173, and 20,607 in hard stone. Number 18,108 is the disc of Eminat in Fa'a'int, described Hathor, Lady of the town of Anita. Number 20,760 is a disc and handle in bronze, and disc having in hollow work the figure of a cow, sacred to Hathor, and the handle upper part of which is in the form of the head of Hathor. Having a sistrum on the side is the phenomenon of Amenaphis III, and on the other is Hathor, later of the sycamore. The meaning and use of the manat is discussed by Lefebvre in La Minute et le nom de l'Unique. Prague Society Biblioarch 1891, pages 333 through 349. A duplicate is in the Louvre. See Perret and Chipies, Histoire de l'Art l'Egypte, page 821, number 550. Page 246. Text, chapter 15, 1 and 1. A hymn of praise to Ra, when he riseth in the eastern part of heaven. Behold, Osiris, Anai the scribe, who recorded the holy offerings of all the gods, who saith, Homage to thee, O thou who hast come as Khep-ab-Ra, Khep-ab-Ra, the creator of the gods. Thou risest, thou shinest, make it bright, thy mother, Nut, crowned king of the gods. Thy mother Nut, unto thee with both her hands. The land of Manu receiveth thee with content, and the goddess Mayat embraceth thee at the two seasons. May he give splendor and power and triumph, and coming forth, resurrection as a living soul, to see Horus of the two horizons. The god Khep-ab-Ra is usually represented with a beetle for a head, and the scarab or beetle was sacred to him. The name means to become, to turn, to roll, and the abstract name Khep-ab-Ra may be rendered by becomings or evolutions. The god was self-created and was the father of all the other gods. Men and women sprang from the tears from which fell from his eyes, and the animal and vegetable worlds owed their existence to him. Khep-ab-Ra is a phrase of Tamu, the night sun, at the 12th hour of the night, when he becomes the rising sun, or yes, Horus and the horizon. He is also described as Khep-ab-Ra in the morning, Ra at midday, and Tamu in the evening. See Lanzon Dizionario, page 927. Grebot Him ad Armand Ra, page 264. Note, Pare Panthéon, page 74-75. Les Fibres, traduction comparée de Himed à Soleil, page 39. De Khuruj, inscription de Almas, page 110. Archaeology, volume 52, page 541. Wiedemann, De Religion de Artan Égypte, page 17. Bruch, Religion and Mythology, page 245, etc. The goddess Nut represented the sky, and perhaps also the exact place where the sun rose. She was the wife of Seb, the earth god, and gave birth to Isis, Osiris, and other gods. One of her commonest titles is Mother of the Gods. She is depicted as a woman bearing a vase upon her head, and sometimes wears the disc and horns, usually characteristic of Isis and Hathor. She was the daughter and mother of Ra. C. Lanzoni, Dizionario, page 392. Pere Pantheon, page 34-36. Baruch, Religion and Mythology, page 603-610. Manu is the name given to the mountain on the western bank of the Nile. Opposite Thebes, wherein was situated to Manu, the mountain of Manu. Yeah, going back on this website, they also said that my ancestors had a strong presence in Denver, Colorado. So what I've been doing is I've been making a list of ancient mounds, ancient landmarks, ancient artifacts, ancient digs, and it will take some time to assemble this list. So that we might have our own record of what these archaeologists around the globe have hidden. Do you know they dig up the pharaohs that are buried here and they take them back, they take them across the waters over to where they call Africa, Egypt, to pretend that is where they are from? How is this so? Would not they have been sent there to be buried there? This is fraud, this is genocide, and this is birthright theft. And it must stop. So we will continue. We have started a new text, the Book of the Dead. This is part 1. And once YouTube restores my live, which will be very soon, they will receive a letter from me. Then we can do more of these. Until now, I'll keep this at a minimum so that it can upload and not have any problem. All right, beloved. Peace and love, life forever.